looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. We need more dogs.
And welcome back to another episode of the Shaving Points podcast. My name is Quentin Crisco. Unfortunately, Jay could not be with us this time around for the short episode, but I'm going to give you all our picks from our full episode, which you can find over on our YouTube page or our podcast channel, or wherever you're listening to us from. But this one, 15 minutes or less, we're just straight to the meat, no filler, not much discussion, but we are just talking picks straight up, giving you guys the odds and those picks. This is on Tuesday, October 14th, so the odds are as of then from FanDuel. But let's start off with Thursday night football. Pittsburgh Steelers going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a 5.5 point dog here, total of 42.5. Joe Flacco starting for Cincinnati now. Jay is taking Cincy plus 5.5. I'm taking Cincy plus 5.5, and the model likes the over 42.5 here. I might play a parlay here with like a Cincy alt line up towards 10 and an over like down in the like high 30s. I think that's something that could play really well here. But so we like this game. We like the Bengals and we like points. Moving on, we have the Los Angeles Rams going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville are 3-point dogs here, 44.5 point total. No Puka Nacua though. So, like, this game comes down to, like, Sean McVay finding ways to score points, which we've seen him do a million times, or Jacksonville, who's, kind of a roller coaster this year. Like, how much do you trust Trevor Lawrence? My gut here wants to take the Rams plus 3. Ultimately, I'm just going to stay away. It's another game in Jacksonville, a long travel for the Rams. So, like, I'm not sure what to expect from that standpoint. I can see it being a letdown game for the Rams potentially, especially with how they looked last week against the Ravens. But I don't trust Trevor Lawrence. It's as simple as that when it comes down to it. I don't trust the Jags defensive tackles. So, like, the Rams might just get run heavy here. So, just staying away from that one. Next up here, we have the Philadelphia Eagles going to the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota are 2.5 point dogs here, total of 43.5. The model likes the Vikings plus 2.5. Me and Jay both lean the Vikings plus 2.5 here. The only thing that stopped me from betting it is Carson Wentz. JJ McCarthy's back at practice. I assume Carson Wentz is still going to be the starter though, but it's the Eagles. Carson Wentz against the Eagles is not something I really want to get involved with the mental side of. Like, I'm not sold that Carson Wentz is past any of the trauma that he had there. And like the trust level just ain't there for Carson Wentz for this game. He's played the Eagles once in his career, took 9 sacks in that game. Wasn't awful other than that, but like 9 sacks is a lot. I assume that was with the Colts. I didn't check out which game that exactly was. I just looked up his splits, but ultimately going to stay away from this one just because of that Carson Wentz aspect. Now, moving on, we have the Las Vegas Raiders going to Kansas City. The Chiefs are 11.5 point favorites here, total of 45.5. Chiefs haven't never really been that good at covering big numbers here, but the Raiders, our motto going into this year was don't sleep on the Raiders. We probably should have slept on the Raiders. It's looking like, but they're coming off the win. Raiders tend to play KC pretty close, but like, I don't trust anything the Raiders are throwing out there right now. Still expecting no Brock Bowers here. Colton Miller's done for the year, I believe, for them, their left tackle. And Kansas City is starting to really look like they might be pretty good. So, like, I'm staying away here. Kansas City don't cover those big numbers that often. So, moving on to the next one. We have the New Orleans Saints going to Chicago to take on the Bears. Bears are 5.5 point favorites here, total of 45.5. I don't trust the Bears to cover a 5.5 point number yet. I think that's a little hefty, even though, like, I get it. I get why it's there, but, like, I don't know. I need to see a little more proof, but I'm taking the over. Over 45.5 seems valid to me. New Orleans, their red zone defense ain't that strong, and that's been really what's been keeping Chicago from scoring some points. Like, they've settled for a lot of field goals this year. I think they get through that. And I think New Orleans puts up something like 17-20, gets that over 45.5. I like that number, and the model likes that as well. Moving on, we have the Miami Dolphins in the sicko game of the week going up against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is a 2.5 point favorite here with a total of 40.5. Jay and I are both on the Miami money line. It's sick. It's nasty. No one actually wants this game. But ultimately, I'm sitting here going, Cleveland is they just trade away a veteran that they paid a good cornerback. And if I'm on that defense, the strength of that team, I'm sitting there going like, man, what are we doing here? I know they got Tyson Campbell back in the trade, but like, I, I don't think that was a inspiring move for the players on Cleveland's roster. And I trust Mike McDaniel to scheme up a few explosives, even if he's on the hot seat, even if he might be fired if they lose this game. Like, I think they're going to find some explosive plays, find enough points to be a team who hasn't scored 20 all year, even though Cleveland's defense is disgusting, like disgusting in the best way possible. I don't trust them to outscore Miami here. Moving on, we have the Carolina Panthers going to the Meadowlands, take on the Jets. Jets are 1.5 point dogs here, total of 42.5. The model likes that over 42.5. Ultimately, though, Panthers have been bad on the road. Jets have been bad everywhere. I don't trust this game. I don't want anything to do with it. So we're just moving on. Next up, we have the New England Patriots taking on the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Tennessee is a 7-point dog here, total of 41.5. Mike Vrabel revenge game. Me and Jay are both on New England -7. We like maybe get some dead cat bounce here from firing Brian Callahan. They might get some out and scout stuff, but ultimately, I think Mike Vrabel's guys get this done. Drake May is like playing on a heater of heaters. He's looking outstanding, and like, yeah, I just don't trust Tennessee. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the LA Chargers in LA. Chargers are 1.5 point favorites, total of 48.5. Indy's a wagon. Model likes Indy plus 1.5. Me and Jay both like Indy money line here. Chargers don't have an offensive tackle on their roster. That makes it really hard to pass protect. If they can get away with running the ball all game, maybe they can eke this game out. But like I think this line is being pretty generous for compared to what we've seen from Indy so far this year. It's on the road. It's a little different for Indy. They've played a lot of home games, but like I feel like I'm getting cheated on this line. Like, I don't know why Indy is a dog here, realistically. Moving on, we have the New York Giants going to Denver. Denver is a 7-point favorite here, total of 40.5. Big proving ground for the Giants here after a big win against Philly last week. I don't really buy it, but like, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. I have a slight lean towards the Giants here, but ultimately I'm going to stay away. I just, there's not a lot to really feel confident in this game aside from the Denver defense, really. But like, the Giants guys are just feisty enough so far and like young and dumb enough to realize that they shouldn't be this good, that they're young and dumb enough to not realize that they shouldn't be this good and be able to beat these teams. And that can be a dangerous combo sometimes. So I'm just going to stay away. I don't know what to expect there. Washington going to Dallas. Cowboys are 2.5 point dogs, total of 54.5. Jay and I are both on the Dallas money line here. Eberflus, he held Jaden Daniels to 18 points last year. Like, that's not nothing in my mind. This Dallas defense has been bad, but they did well against Jalen Hurts. They did well against Justin Fields. To me, Jaden Daniels is a similar archetype of quarterback. So, like, I think that they can slow down Washington just enough. And, like, I think Dallas is just going to keep looking awesome on offense. So, Dallas money line right there. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers going to Arizona. Arizona are 6.5 point dogs here, total of 44.5. Jay and I both kind of like the idea of sprinkling the money line here. We both like the Arizona money line as long as Kyler Murray's playing, though. That's the big question here. Because if it's Jacoby Brissett, I don't like it at all. Like, I think that pass rush is really going to get after Brissett. But like, if it's Kyler, I can see just enough magic happening in the desert for them to at least cover this number. Moving on, Atlanta Falcons going to San Francisco. San Francisco is a 3-point favorite here, total of 46.5. Jay's taking San Fran -3. The model likes the under 46.5 here, but the model doesn't realize that Fred Warner is hurt now. And like, that matters. You can't really translate that into the math. So I'm going to stay away from that under. And I'm just staying away from this game in general. Jay is taking San Fran -3 based on the logic of Atlanta wins every other game. And it's worked for him in the past, and it you can kind of follow that logic. But ultimately, I'm staying away. I don't know what to expect here. Now, moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Detroit. Detroit is a 5.5-point favorite here. Total of 52.5. Jay's taking the Bucks money line. Just ride that Baker Mayfield MVP wagon. I'm going to stay away. I have a lean towards Tampa to cover here, but I don't need to take it. That, Becca Ibuka is out now. I'm not sure if Mike Evans will be back or not. That's still up in the air. But if Mike Evans is back, I start to like Tampa more here. But Detroit coming off a rough loss to Kansas City, I do think that they're going to be ready in this game. They are such a talented team that it's tough for me to bet against them. So I'm gonna stay away from that one. Last game of the week, Houston Texans going to Seattle. Houston is a 3.5-point dog here, so Seattle's 3.5-point favorite. Total of 40.5. Jay's taking the Houston money line. I'm taking Houston plus 3.5. Seattle's been a really rough home team, oddly, the last year and a half. So Houston coming off the bye week, thinking they might find some answers in their offense and be able to take advantage of a Seattle team that's really struggled at home for some reason. So we're both on the Texans there. Our teaser of the week is featuring the Chicago Bears to cover, Carolina Panthers to cover, New England to cover, and Washington versus Dallas to go over. It's a 6-point teaser that's plus 260, 6.5-point teaser that is plus 200. Thank you guys for watching. And we have a new motto on this show for this year since our Raiders pick has not panned out, and that is that the Chiefs are inevitable. Adios.